Welcome to Dental All Stars. I'm Alex Nottingham, founder and CEO of All Star Dental Academy. And with me is Robyn Reis, the director of the All Star Hiring Service. And our topic is the summer slump. Please welcome Robyn.
Thanks, Alex. I am so happy to be here.
Happy to have you, director of the All Star Hiring Service. Summer slump. This is an issue that I keep hearing about. Perhaps it's somewhat self-inflicted, but there's some truth to it as well. So tell me a little bit about what is this? Does it happen every year? What's going on in the summer? Because it seems like every business is slow to some extent. And what's going on, Robyn? Help us.
I want to say the trend is for sure. Summer is always a time where doctors take vacation, team members take vacation because their children are off of school and they want to capitalize on the time to spend with family. And that's all true. Same thing with patients, right? So a lot of teams will find themselves on a skeleton crew, short staffed because multiple people are out. And also, summer sickness, that happens too. And we have found that lately in some conversations with teams is how do you overcome that? How do you take the time that you have that maybe the schedule is slow, is how do you maximize the time together with your team? And several of the teams I've been working with have really taken time to go back and kind of reset themselves, reboot, refresh, go back to basics, find ways that maybe there's a challenge or there's a gap, or maybe they've gotten away from some of the systems and practices that they've been doing because it's just been on autopilot. And it's been so rush, rush, rush. The spring was super busy for a lot of practices, and now they're finding, it's kind of, downturn. And we know that repetition is the mother of skill, right, Alex?
I've said
You're
that a
a
few
big
times there.
proponent of that, and that truly is it's just going back to let's revisit our systems, let's bring out our job descriptions. Is everything up to date? Because we know we're rounding the corner when August is almost here. Schools are going to start getting back up, our schedule's going to start getting full again. Now's the time to really spend training, concentrated training time. We know that All Star is a huge proponent of, always be training, always be training. And summer is a great time to do that. And it could be one-on-one training. It could be divisional training. It could be an all team afternoon training. Let's bring out our systems book. Let's bring out our job descriptions. What new equipment has been brought in? What's still serving our patients and our patient experience? What can we get rid of? What can we refine? And we are also, from the hiring team standpoint, is we've been making a lot of great connections and hires for dental teams. So what a great time to onboard people too, when it's not in the throes of, a busy time. So really taking summer, enjoying the summertime and maybe enjoying a slower schedule, but also maximizing the time together, helping teams really refine and refresh what they're there to do. And that is to serve the patients, but also to serve each other.
Yeah, I remember my father in his practice where he would be so busy and then he would complain that he's too busy because he couldn't get rest. Then he'd have a slower month and he would complain that it's slow. And and I think we want to work with what is given to us. If it's a little slower, there are some things that we do. I released a podcast recently working on your business versus in your business, a classic
Absolutely.
discussion from Michael Gerber, E-Myth Revisited. We want to be working on our business besides just the day-to-day operations, regardless. But when we have a slump of activity, it's a good time to do it. Heather was like, it was funny. She was like, oh, we didn't get that many sales in a week. And she was freaking out and it's slow. And then Shelly said to her, just you watch, the week or two after is going to be crazy. And sure enough, it was.
Right.
But was unfortunate. I was upset that we got all those sales. And because of this, I wanted Heather to work on the business. She had time now to build things that could build, for other stuff that we can grow from. And then we're going to go on vacation, which is nice. And of course, whenever we're on vacation, there's a lot of business that comes that happens to work that way. But the point is that it reminds us there are reasons that we have these ups and downs. It's good to have that and to be really taking time to step back and say, how can I make my business better? The hiring service that you provide is a wonderful service, and it is usually over demand. We're working really hard to create supply to help do that. Um, but as we were talking about this, the hiring service is one aspect of it, hiring, but you also want to make sure your people stay. You want to put in the systems that your office is stands out. And it's also a place, and we do this at All Star. People that come work for us, we want them to be part of the movement. Recruitment. We did a whole video, you and I, on recruitment versus hiring, and we want to bring them to our cause. And bringing someone to your cause is not just, hey, we have a cause, and you're just going to do dentistry work all day and then go home. You're spending a lot of time with people. And so, what we advocate, and I know you love this of balanced life, is bring your team to events. We do events. You are teaching the phone skills program. Our hiring service director, who's very well known about hiring, has a multitude of skill sets. So you're teaching phone skills. It was so needed. But it's fun to get outside of our daily routine. Make those investments in your team that they never want to leave. So they don't need a hiring service as much, right?
Right.
Or it becomes
Absolutely.
or you're just growing, but you retain a lot of people.
Well, and you also have to be reminded on occasion of, why do I work here? Why did I choose to work here?
Right.
Why do I make the choices that I make? We talked about this at the Practice Growth Summit. Change is inevitable, but growth is a choice. And we could look at this slump and think, oh my gosh, we have all these patients, we have to fill the holes, right? The whack-a-mole approach, which isn't a long-term solution, I can tell you that.
Sure.
So taking that time, and especially if they're calling you 10 minutes before they're supposed to be there and they can't come, how do you utilize that time? Well, what a great way to reorganize your inventory, to do a deep cleaning in an operatory, to do, follow up, reach out to patients, call new patients who are coming up, do the things that we really want to do, but maybe we can't find the time during our normal workday to do it. And as you know, I preach this a lot. You'll never find the time. You have to make the time. So building it into your schedule is really, really important if you want to accomplish the things that you say you want to accomplish. And that also goes hand in hand with what we've talked about before, is are you interested or are you committed?
Totally.
It's great to want to write all these, 30 thank you notes a week or whatever it might be. And that's interesting to me. And that's something that I would love to do. And then if I'm committed, I'm going to build time every single day to write 5 a day, right? To achieve my 30 a week. But there's a difference. I can talk about it, but unless I actually commit to it and put it on my calendar, most often is not going to happen.
That's
And
right.
especially in everybody's, multitasking, multi-committed world, you have to make the time for what's important. And I think training is so important, and engaging your team is so important, so that they do feel a part of that, greater whole, and what's greater good for the business and for the patients that you serve. And summer is always a great time to do that, especially if you find that you're able to do that. Now, there might be orthodontics listening or other specialty practices, pediatric practices, that summer is absolutely the craziest time for them because all the kids are home.
Right.
And for them, it might be the fall or it might be the spring that is their summer, where their schedule dips a little bit. And if there's consistency and predictability and steadiness in your schedule, then for sure, you absolutely have to make the time and build that into your schedule.
What's
Excuse
coming
me.
to my mind is audits and systems, meaning
Mm,
it's a good time to audit ourselves. and
Yeah.
say, okay, it's a little slower. Now I have time to like go back to what do I stand for? So we have these 5 steps to an all-star practice. And I've said it many times. So repetition is a mother of skill. And imagine how many times I've heard it because I keep talking about it. So you have the 5 steps, and it's always good to go back to it because I built this based on what do the best businesses do. So first, go back to your vision, your mission. What do you stand for? Make sure you're committed to that, and see if there's any way you've deviated. What are you looking to build? Then see, does your team reflect it? Does your
Right.
team reflect what you're looking to do that's beyond just yourself? And then you want to make sure you're training your team consistently, not on clinical as well as customer service skills. And All Star Dental Academy, our membership includes the online training. It includes we have a buying group included. We have many discounts and stuff. It's a great membership. The highlight is our online program, but you're doing that 20 minutes a week. And then on top of that, are you working with a coach or consultant, whether it's All Star or someone else? I mean, it's great to have coaching. That's one of the fastest ways to grow your business. And then finally, the mastermind effect. Are you in a mastermind, or you go into events, or are you a way to think outside the box? Dentists often say, I feel like I'm on an island in
Right.
my
In a
own
silo.
place,
Right.
right? In a silo.
Yeah.
And you want to elevate yourself and elevate your team where they're rubbing shoulders with other people. They're getting that mastermind effect. And so it's a good place to stop and say, how am I doing in those 5 steps? How am I doing in what I'm looking to achieve? And you could be
Mhm.
doing great, but it's also good to kind of say big term, because we know the summer will improve. The slump, it always does,
Temporary.
but it's good to then, this is the time we have to work on our business, and then also look at our systems. You are the mecca guru of systems, we'll say.
The system queen.
Is the
Yes, I am
system
known
queen.
for
I
that.
was thinking queen. You go queen. With the system, so critical. Your HR manual. You're a consultant for Ben Erickson. Um, your hiring processes, your support, all those things. Where can we improve? Those are good ways to do that. And worst case scenario, you could rest. It's not a bad thing. Focus on your mental health a little
You
bit. Go
have
do
to.
something.
You have to. That is not a reward for hard work, it's a requirement.
Yeah.
And you know that very, very well. You
Yes.
have to be able to rest and regenerate and rejuvenate yourself in order to be at your peak performance. Athletes do it. They do it really, really well. They have to get X amount of hours of sleep, letting their body recover. Same thing for dentistry. We have
And
to do it. Team members, doctors, everybody.
it's so true. We're seeing that becoming more insightful now with athletics and leadership of bringing
And the
back mental
Olympics.
health. And the Olympics, yeah, there was a special on Simone Biles about how she had to overcome some mental issues and how they push these gymnasts so hard. And it's difficult because they have the pressure that if you don't win, you lose out millions. But then again, you also have to take care of yourself. So um, money is fine. And in All Star, it's we really believe so much in that balanced life, and that you have to be happy first. Focus on that. You can't
Yeah,
give that up for money.
no,
It's got to
can't.
be, because it won't last,
Yeah,
and your team won't
right.
last. So you need, so the whole idea is, can we create a sustainable system and process and place that you want to be and your team wants to be? That's the whole idea. Make sense?
Totally.
So you also mentioned something about empathy and the role that plays with your team and yourself and self-care. Tell me a little bit about that, Robyn. Because that was something that came up in our conversation.
It did, and it was, I think, prevalent because of a book I've been listening to about, empathy and leadership and how it makes companies more profitable, more productive. That's the end result. It's not the driving force, but it's the end result because people are seen as people. And What I find in the hiring service, that's one of the things that I think also is kind of our secret sauce, is the fact that our team members, our hiring specialists, have been team members, have sat in the seats, and they can empathize and put themselves in other people's shoes as to, what makes a great dental chairside assistant, what makes a great compassionate dental hygienist, what makes an incredibly engaging front office team member. So empathy, I think, shows up in so many different ways, not only our relationships that and connections that we build with our patients in our practice, but also how we connect and build connections with our team members. Gallup, their Q12 in talking about high performing team members, one of the questions is, I have a best friend at work. And that really talks about the connection being part of something bigger than themselves, and knowing that they have the love and support at work. It doesn't mean that you have to always be best friends with people that you work with, but knowing that you tend to dig deep and help support the person next to you when you truly care about them and when they truly care about you, and you're not afraid to um, make that commitment and know that you're working with people that have the same shared values. And I know that my lighting is going really, really
I
bright.
see your lighting. What you are
I
illuminated.
mean, I think somebody's shining down on me.
Oh, what is that? Like your window?
It is my window.
Wow. How many of
And
you
all of a
were
sudden the sun came out.
the sun will come out tomorrow. So let me ask you this, Robyn, because we like to keep these interviews relatively short. Sometimes I go over, but couple announcements. One, next month, that's the goal, is we will have a whole day of the week that's Robyn, and so you'll have some training from you, 3 to 5 minutes of some quick podcasts.
Yes.
So that's going to be, it will
Very
be,
excited.
we'll do some HR, we'll do some hiring. And I said, I gave you full range. I say it's a Robyn show. You can go phone skills, because Robyn's a full fledged practice management consultant as well. So there's a lot of things that she can talk about, and speaker, international speaker, great speaker. And so full range is gonna be fun. And I think also you plan to have some of your hiring team on in the future, interview some people like Ben Erickson and others to be on your show, and
Yeah.
your friends and consultants on there. So that's something we have in plan. So the goal, everybody, is that we want to bring you 5 days of content. We have Monday, we have Eric Vickery, our president of coaching, on Inspirational Monday. We'll
Awesome.
have
You
we
love
have
love those. Those Monday minutes. Love it.
Yeah, and then we're going to have Tuesday and Thursdays are going to be, one of those days will be you, Robyn, the Robyn Show. Another day will be clips from our Practice Growth Summit and our other events from us, as well as other speakers, that you can get some cool content throughout the week. Again, short. Wednesdays will go a little longer. We'll have an interview, and so that's always nice. Like, this will be a Wednesday program. And then also depends, actually, as we're speaking, this might have launched in August, so you would have already seen Robyn. And then Friday is my podcast that everybody at All Star is mandated to listen to, that one at very least. And so I talk about on versus in your business. We talk about mindset, we talk about health, we talk about leadership, we talk about wealth, and some various issues. So there's a lot that we can do. And again, it's not just dentistry. Anybody can benefit from what we talk about. It's entrepreneurship, it's leadership, it's work-life balance. Our business model, we make money by serving dentists, but everybody can benefit, team members, and so on. So it's a great podcast. Share with your friends. Robyn, tell us about the hiring service. What is it, for those who may not know, and make sure you remind people, because they may think like you just do hiring for All Star. No, you hire for dental offices across the country. Tell us about that a little bit.
You bet. It is a service that we provide. We become an extension of the practice. So we represent the practice, and we do all of the heavy lifting and all of the stress induced steps of the recruitment and hiring process. So we have a team of former dental team members, hygienists, dental assistants, office managers, front office. And we are working with a practice. We get to know the practice. We understand the vision, the mission, the culture. We understand what's important to the practice and what they're looking for in a new team member. And then we go out into the world and we sift through many, many resumes to find the best candidate and the best fit for the practice. We interview them on the phone, we interview them on a Zoom interview, and then we present that applicant to the practice. And then they get the best of the group to choose from. And they get to meet them in person, might even do a working interview. And then we help with the offer letter, the background check, the verification of employment, and really help with the onboarding. So once we help somebody choose a applicant, add them to their team, then we're going to check in with them at a week and a month's time to see how is everything going. Is everything aligning with what you learned before during the interview process? Is it coming true now that you're working in the practice? And helping any hiccups that might come along the way. And that's something we do in all 50 states in the US. We work with all different practices, specialty, general practice. We recruit for any position in the practice with the exception of dentists and associate dentists. And we have resources, great partners that we can refer practices to. But I just am reminded of a conversation I was just speaking with a CPA, an accountant, who was helping his practices with the hiring. He's like, yeah, it is way too much work. It's too time consuming and I just don't want to do it anymore. And I learned about you from one of our partners, Dental Nachos. And
Mhm.
so he's like, I'd love to help you, help my practices and be your contact. And so I think it's going to be a wonderful relationship. And that's really what it's about, is we want to help practices focus on what they do best, and that's dentistry. Serving their patients, not worrying about, no shows of phone calls or no shows of interviews, just helping them choose the right person for their team. And that's what the hiring service is all about.
Yeah, I'm always reminded, for me as an attorney, I like having a hiring service. If I was a dentist, it's nice to have someone else do it because there's protections because you don't say something stupid. It's also really good from a business perspective. It's a good use of one's time. A dentist is leading an office that's making thousands of dollars an hour. Why do something that we don't like to do and that we're not really great at? And the other thing is we find that the team members that are hired, they love the white glove service. They like that
Mm.
they're represented, that they have it's not so stressful because there's representation on both sides and we take really good care of applicants and so it's a really nice transition
It's a
with
great
respect to that.
feedback too that we get. We get a lot of
Mhm.
applicants to say, "Wow, like I don't um interview with many offices, or I've been interviewing with other offices. You guys really have it together." And, I really appreciate the follow up and I really appreciate you staying in contact with me. Again, practices are busy and it's something that they have such a sense of relief that they know it's being handled while they're forward facing with the patient. They know behind the scenes and off site, out of mind, right? That we're screening, we're having phone interviews, we're doing Zoom interviews, and the process keeps moving forward throughout the time that we're looking, so that they're not interrupting their patient care. And again, it's the most time consuming parts that we take from them, and what we can achieve in 1 hour worth of time is far more than what somebody who's working in an office, because we're not answering phones, we're not checking in patients or checking out patients or explaining treatment. We are solely focused on interviewing, reviewing resumes, screening applicants, verifying employment, doing all the things that the
Gosh,
practice needs to
I hate
protect
that.
them.
I hate that stuff. So I'm glad you guys do that.
I know you do.
And 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 from a bigger picture, all the services at All Star are we're designing to support a private practice to be able to compete with the much larger conglomerates that have this expert support. That's what we're here to do. So to learn more, go to allstardentalacademy.com and you can click on hiring and learn more about our hiring service. And we're happy to speak with you and take it from there. So Robyn Reis, Director of All Stars Hiring Service, thank you so much for being on the program. We'll have you again, even though maybe you'll have me on your program one of these days. One of
Maybe I
your,
will.
interview me. Okay. Thanks for joining us. Remember everyone to subscribe with Apple Podcasts, Spotify,
Click, click,
YouTube.
click.
Click all of them, leave comments, and we like that. And tell us what you think, and we can have a conversation. Share with your friends. And until next time, go out there and be an all-star.
An all-star.
An all-star.